Hello, everyone. Welcome to my podcast. Today, I have a multifaceted individual on the show. He runs four for-profit and four non-profit organizations. So now you must be thinking that how can one person run four for-profit and four non-profit organizations? Meet Dr. Jagat Shah. He is an entrepreneur, a multifaceted advisor of international business with relentless passion for hitting the road. Dr. Shah holds a PhD in international business, complemented by certification in management consultancy and cluster development. He is based in Ahmedabad, India, but he has a global presence extending to the USA and Canada. He has been very active in the trade and investment commissions, and he was also the trade and investment commissioner for the government of Manitoba to founding multiple successful ventures like Global Network, Vibrant Markets, and Smart Village. He has left a mark on the world of trade and investment. Right now, he's very passionate about his one non-profit organization called Mentor on Road Initiative, and we'll be talking more about that. So, welcome to the show, Dr. Shah.
Thank you so much, Anshumanji, and it's my pleasure to be talking to you.
So you have such a multifaceted personality, and you have been involved in so many things. So take us to your early days, your college days, and how you got into business, and then from there, how did you progress into non-profit world, and what you are exactly doing in that area.
Yeah. So, Anshumanji, I have been brought up all over India. So my father used to be involved in construction for the Indian Army. So I was in Shillong and then Assam and Calcutta, and then we settled in Delhi for our education. So I did my schooling and college in Delhi, and then I was working with an American company for 4 years, and then I was working in China for some years and Indonesia, and I was right from beginning I was in international trade. So that is what always attracted me. Even it is very interesting. A lot of people ask me why you chose this line. So uh, in Indian education system in class 10, actually class 11 you have to select between maths and geography. So
Yes.
I selected geography. So I think from 11th onwards my direction was clear, and so that is how I built my career. And then I was working and I was handling exports from day one as my work. And then when I left working, I wanted to do something of my own. Ahmedabad is my hometown in Gujarat, in India, and I came back and I saw a gap that the small medium enterprises in India were not exporting because they did not have information and knowledge, and though they were making good products. So I said I will build my career in that space.
Great, great. Thank you so much. So you have 26 years of experience in international trade consulting, market research, B2B matchmaking. That is a lot. And I'm looking at you, you have visited over 20 countries: USA, Canada, Brazil, South Africa, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Turkey, Egypt, Germany, UK. You have a lot of experience. So is the thought that, gaining so much of international exposure, picking up on things from there and bringing that back to your home country, India, or uh, how did it span to that area of work?
Yeah, so when I was working with companies, then I was at that time I was handling exports for those companies. So I knew products because we were doing a lot of merchant exporting, and I also knew markets. So, but then I also started understanding one very interesting thing is that I started valuing the cultural aspects of India, because when I was traveling abroad, I saw a lot of pain point in the society, and those pain points were not there in Indian society because of our cultural values. So I said I will settle in India, though I had an opportunity to settle in US or many other countries, but I settled in India. And then that is what the space I saw is that the large companies in India, they can pay highly paid salaried people, and they do not need advisory services because they can afford, they have deep pockets. But small medium enterprise, which is the backbone of Indian economy, because they were creating a lot of employment, Large companies have mechanization, so employment generation is not so much, but small medium enterprise have more. Then I said I must create my space there. So that is why all my experiences of the markets I brought to India, and it is very interesting. Actually, I failed in consulting. When I started my business, I started Global Network, International Trade Advisory Company, and it failed because everybody I met 35, 40 business people in Ahmedabad. Everybody I met, they said, if you will guide me how to export, why don't you export? You know, which Gujarati and which Jain will teach someone to export? They will do it themselves, right? So I had no answer to that. And then one of the entrepreneur told me, why don't you do training? I said, I have never done training, but I can do. He said, okay. I said, if I do training, you will come. He said, I'll come. I went back to 35 people who rejected my advisory service. 32 of them agreed for training. It took me 6 months to understand which word to use in business. Rather than consulting, I should have used the word training, even though both is almost same. You know, so the fees which I was asking them to pay for my consulting, same fees I asked for training, and they all agreed.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So I started Global Network Institute, and I did next 4 years. I did training, and I took my students. I call them students, but they are all entrepreneurs. I took them to various countries and got them business. Every time we came back from a tour after the training and after taking them to a foreign country on marketing, about 50% of the my students joined my
Got the product.
consulting, joined my consulting business.
Okay.
Because they said, now we understand what do you mean by consulting, and we are ready to do consulting. So next 4 years, I took 30, 40 delegations all over the world, and I built a huge clientele of 100 companies. So that's
Wow.
how I started. It was actually a start from failure, and this is what I always tell all startups, that it's okay to fail, but fail early and fail small, right?
Yeah.
So because from every failure you will get a new lesson to build a business.
Fail early and fail small.
Yeah.
Great, great wisdom. Let's talk about your mentor on road. You have covered, 10,000 miles. You have visited to about 35 cities in 35 states of America. So, what is the idea behind mentor on road? Sounds like a very unique and truly unique, initiative. Tell us more about the motivation behind this project and where it stands now.
Yeah, so for almost 25 years, I have a hobby of long distance driving, and I drive with my family to all over India and to many countries. So I was also very lucky to have been working with Mr. Modi when he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, and I had on several occasions. So he knew me, he knew my long distance driving hobby. So when he became the Prime Minister, he suggested to me that why don't you attach some cost to this? So I said, look, I mean, it's my holiday. Whole year I work hard. So what cost should I attach? But then he said, you think about it and try. And if you enjoy, you continue doing it. So actually, this mentor on road is also name given by him. And so, he said, you do mentoring because you have good experience. So then I drove all over India in 2015. I drove from Ahmedabad to Coimbatore, Coimbatore to Calcutta, East Coast and Calcutta to back to Ahmedabad for 120 days. And I met almost 10,000 business people in various chambers and associations. I also,
Right.
many meetings I attended. And I was just trying to find out what are the challenges of ease of doing business. Because that time Mr. Modi had just taken over as Prime Minister, and our ease of doing business index ranking was very poor, 149 out of 189. So I actually from the ground I found out what is the challenges of ease of doing business and submitted a 49 one-liner report that based on the feedback. And then next year, Government of India did a wonderful work, gave to various ministries to do many things, and out of that, and next year it was 130, then 129, then 100, then today we stand at 66. So I
Right.
actually enjoyed that road trip. I enjoyed mentoring small medium enterprise, women owned business, startups. So then I kept doing it, and that is how that time the ambassador of US in India, Richard, he came to know about this. He said, "Why don't you do a similar tour in US?" So I said, "Okay, if US government is partner, I'll do." So US Department of Commerce became a partner, and I drove for 82 days from Boston to Tampa, Tampa to San Diego, San Diego to Seattle, and Seattle to New York. And
Wow.
yeah, I conducted 115 seminars uh, in 82 days. And in the morning I used to meet universities and explain them about Startup India. Startup India was my partner. That what is Startup India, and though you are a startup in America, but in the long run your market is going to be India. And today, whatever we are hearing about India, Mr. Modi had a vision at that time. We used to talk
Yes.
about these things, what we have already achieved. And so I used to convey that this is what is the vision. And then I was meeting women owned businesses and connecting them to Indian women owned business. Then I was meeting small medium enterprise. And I was very surprised that the US Department of Commerce, on the briefing to me, they said hardly 5% of American companies export at all to any country in the world, because America itself is such a big market. So we want you to motivate them to export. So that
Right.
was my mission, and I was explaining them that you are a small medium enterprise in America, but India is a good market for you. And then in the evening I was meeting Indian diaspora, and I promoted a program called Smart Village. I said, adopt your village in India, and we will convert it into village in 1,000 days. So it was a very interesting journey I had, and we have so many experiences. And me and my wife, the two of us drive. Uh, we drive 2 hours each everywhere, so we don't get tired. And uh, also we work. Both of us work for those 2 hours when we are not driving.
Wow. Wow. Such an amazing story, Dr. Jagat. So yeah, let's talk about the 1,000 day program of smart villages. You have covered 62 villages in India into smart villages with your smart village 1,000 day program. What do you mean by a smart village, and how do you do that, and what is specifically is done in 1,000 days? 1,000 days is what, 3 years, almost 3 years, which in business management books also they say that is your business going to scale or not? The gestation period is and should be more than 1,000 days. So is that the concept that you are implementing at the smart village? And give us more details about this project.
Yeah. So, Anshumanji, the challenge with India is that even today, 65% population of India lives in villages. We have 630,000 villages in India, and India can never become a developed country without its villages becoming developed. But the problem in the village is that most of the villages are into farming, the village people, and their children, they are studying outside the village in towns and cities, and after education they don't want to come back to village, because what will they do in the village? They don't want to do farming, because they have seen their parents in poverty whole life. They don't want to do farming, because farming, we have very small land holdings in India. If you go by plane to anywhere in India, you will see small land holdings. So you cannot have commercial farming like we have in US and Canada, where we have large acreage and mechanization is possible. So farmers are always going to be in a difficult situation. So children don't want to do farming, and it is also hardship. So they are taking up odd jobs, security guard, or computer entry data operator, and villages are getting empty. So we thought that. So when I did this mentor on road tour in America, I was meeting Indian diaspora in the evening, and I told them, look, if you whichever village you belong to in India, you adopt it, and we will convert it into smart village in 1,000 days. We don't need any funding from you. Generally, when people go to US, people ask for funding. We have never that approach. So we said we don't need $1 from you, but we want your commitment, because it's your village, and we will work, because we do not know your village. You have an emotional connect, and you will be our anchor, and we will work. We have made a plan. And why 1,000 days? Because we, as you very rightly says, I am in business, so I know. If I have started 8 businesses, every business was a startup when I started, and it took me average 1,000 days to set up each business. right? So I know it takes that much time to do anything properly, right? So that's
Right.
how, and also 1,000 days looks good as a number, quantification is important. I have seen in India that a lot of development projects, they do not have a timeline. So because they do not have a timeline, it goes on extended. So I said I must put pressure to myself on a timeline. So that is why 1,000 days. And then uh, 62 villages were adopted, and my condition was that though I don't want funding, but I will only start the village work when you come to the village. And me and my team will be with you, and we will walk around the village for 3 days, and we will do bottom up approach. We will ask the village people what you want to change in the village. You and me will not decide what is to be done in a village, which generally happens in a governance model. I said let villagers decide. So we built a questionnaire, and it was very interesting, and we developed finally 70 parameters, and we said when a village tick mark all 70, it will become a smart village, right? But the idea, just to give you quick examples. So one is
Yeah.
we convert the schools into digital school. So for example, so because in every school in India we do not have enough teachers as is required. So we develop modules in local language and in state board curricula and central curricula, and we had a TV screen, and then we had an internet connection, and we ran the modules if the teacher was absent. So that is one of the aspects. Another, every village has a primary health center. We converted that into telemedicine center. So even if the doctor is not coming, because doctors don't come to village every day, uh, a doctor goes to 10 villages in a week. So then we made it into a telemedicine center with a computer, and people can then access the doctors from there. Then every public utility in the village, it's we converted into a solar panel on the rooftop, so that in the school, in the primary health center, in bus stand, in sarpanch office. So that was, and the fourth most interesting initiative was to convert the farmers into value addition food processing manufacturing. So we motivated the youngsters of the farmer family that come back to your village. Suppose, like, I'll give you one example, because it is related to US. Uh, Groundnut farmers are growing groundnut in India, but groundnut
Yes.
is then sold in the wholesale market, and only brokers make money. Farmers don't make money. So we motivated the children of the farmers who are growing groundnut to start making peanut butter. So peanut butter, $5 billion is the peanut butter market in America, right? And we motivated them that you make, and we prepared a project report. We got them funding from banks without any collateral security, and we did the peanut butter manufacturing. Uh, See, peanut butter manufacturing is very glamorous. Farming is not glamorous in India. So the young people got interested. There is a machine, there is a shed, there will be a product coming out, it will be packaged, it will be labeled, there will be a branding, there will be a website, there will be brochures, and they will go to market to sell. All these things they can't do in farming. So it became glamorous, and they came back to village. And after 6 months, they realized that if I want to make peanut butter, I will have to grow groundnut in my farm. So they went
Right.
back to farming. So this was the most interesting. In every village, we did a food value addition. If some people were growing tomatoes, we started making tomato ketchup, right? Because tomato has 3 days life, but ketchup has 1 year life. So they will not
Right.
be under pressure to sell tomato at 3 rupees a kg and then suffer. So
Right.
like that. There are 70 initiatives.
70 different parameters
Yeah,
that the village has to comply to, and once they have achieved all those 70 parameters, then
correct.
they become a smart village. This is a unique concept. From where the funding comes to put the solar panel, put the smart school? Are you partnering with another NGO, or does the government fund you? How does that work?
So it is interesting question. See, we we have used a business model, even though it is our not-for-profit activity. For example, we approached a company which is manufacturing solar panel and who are into solar projects, and we told them that look, I will give you this terrace rights for 15 years under an agreement with the school and the panchayat and the primary health center, and you put up the solar panel at your own cost. And whatever school needs power, it will take for free. Whatever is excess, you sell in the grid. And they did a analysis. They said in 7 years we will have break even, and next 8 years we will have profit. So we had to invest zero. Our investment was zero. Like that, every initiative is a business model because otherwise it's not sustainable. Somebody may fund as a donation, but it won't sustain. It won't go long. So like
Right.
that, our school initiative is also we contacted Khan Academy in America. We contacted ekstep.in of the Nandan Nilamkani, and we got all these modules made. And we got the Geo network from Geo Internet free. We got laptops from Microsoft's used laptops free. We got used laptops for our primary health center as a telemedicine center. So all was like a CSR. The companies were ready to do their CSR part, and the second half, you will be very surprised, Anshumanji. I must tell you, there is no shortage of funding in India. The problem is people do not know. Government of India has such amazing schemes, particularly after Mr. Modi government
Yes.
came. Amazing schemes. You say if the village people say there is no bus stand in my village and I have to walk along to get a bus, there is a funding which sets up the bus stand. There is a funding for water. There is a funding for electricity. There is a water. There is a funding for biogas. There is so much of cow dung in villages, but it can be converted into biogas. There is a funding scheme available. There is a scheme for healthcare. There is a scheme for education. I mean, we just tabbed the schemes of the government. That's it. In
Yeah.
any case,
Yeah.
that funding was there, but we tabbed it and we brought that funding to the village by professionally presenting it to the collector or to the block development officer or DDO, whoever government officer was there. They were also very happy. They said, "You are actually helping us to do a good work," and they were very happy. They used to actually contact us that, "Oh, tell me, I got this funding. Where do you want to use it?" Because
Right.
we were
Right.
very honest. I must tell you one thing, Anshumanji. You will be surprised. We must have done at least more than $100 million of spending in village, but till date and from day one, we don't even have a bank account. We don't have a bank account of Smart Village. It is total
Wow.
transparency. We don't touch any funding because in India, funding is directly connected to allegations, issues. So we don't touch money. Everything goes direct. And the admin cost we ourselves bear. We have our team, we have our business which makes money. All the admin cost is 100% borne by us. So we don't take, we have no, not even a bank account. All the money goes directly wherever it is required to go. So CSR of funding, corporates are also very happy with us. Government is very happy because there is no in between.
So maybe I think you are the only one where 100% of the proceed, 100% of the funding goes to the project. There
Correct?
is no overhead cost whatsoever.
No, no, because this is like our passion, and we have our business which makes money, but this is our passion, and we enjoy doing this, and we have brought about huge change, and we are very happy with this.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is phenomenal.
I read
I
some,
got my
I read somewhere that any business which makes only money is a very poor business.
yeah, yeah, so true, so true, so true. Ultimately, after your initial costs have been taken care of, how much money do you need? You will eat the same rice that I'll be eating.
True,
It is.
true. In fact, the employees in my company who are doing other work, they volunteer to do this work. My employees also volunteer. So actually,
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
no overhead because this is a voluntary thing for our employees. They devote time to this as extra hours.
yeah. No, Dr. Saab, thank you so much for this. And I would love to meet with you whenever I am in Ahmedabad or whenever you are coming to Los Angeles,
Certainly.
please ping me. We will certainly meet with you. So now let me take you back in time to Afghanistan. The challenging assignment in Afghanistan where you work with women entrepreneurs in handicraft to train and connect them with global market. So how that idea came to you and why did you choose Afghanistan?
Yeah, so actually, US, I was working with the US Aid and US Department of Defense. So, US was present I was working there for 2004 to 2014, 10 years. My team was there, but I used to go and come. So, US government, US Department of Defense was wanting to, they have an economic development arm, and they wanted to, you know, empower the entrepreneurship there. So we were involved because we are known for international market, and until and unless you can sell a product, you can't really prosper in business. And in Afghanistan, there is no purchasing power, so only way was to export. So that is how we were identified by this organization. And then we work with, say, for example, carpet weavers, and carpet weavers were very much exploited there, though they have a god gift of amazing carpet weaving in terms of design. But Pakistan, because it's a landlocked country, Pakistan was taking advantage. They didn't have a port, so they had to send it to Pakistan, Karachi port, and then Karachi would export. And they were dependent on Pakistan. So Pakistan made sure that Afghani weavers cannot do finishing, and they had to be dependent on the Pakistan traders to do finishing. And they used to be paid like $90 per square meter for a carpet, and Pakistan would export for $160, with hardly $5 value addition, and they would not pay them on time. They would deduct money. They will say whatever is not sold, we'll take it back and all that. So we said, okay, let's do one thing. We did some research, and we came to know that a lot of aircrafts are coming from Europe and America to Afghanistan bringing arms, and they are going back empty. So we approached them and we said, look, we want to send our carpet in your empty aircraft, and we will bypass the land route of Pakistan, and we will pay you. We don't want free, even though if we ask free, you will give us free. But if we ask free, it is not sustainable. So we want to build a sustainable model. So we will pay you whatever we pay if we route it by sea through Karachi. That much we will pay you. They were very happy. They said, in any case, we are going empty. This is extra money for us. So, and we flew. We flew from Kabul to Hanover. We flew from Kabul to Los Angeles, Atlanta, and we took part in Domotex, which is the largest carpet exhibition in Europe. We took part in Atlanta carpet show, and I took 16 weavers of Afghanistan to these countries, and we were very successful. And we sold carpets at $158, $2 cheaper than Pakistan. And but we called our booth as Original Afghani. And and I still recall it was a 3-day exhibition in Domotex in Hanover. And on the first day we were selling at 158 because just opposite our booth was Pakistani booth, which was selling at $160. So we'll say $2 less. But by evening, we took our price to $165 because we saw that when people came to know that first time ever in history of Afghanistan, anybody was directly from Afghanistan selling in Europe, they were very emotional and they wanted to support. And I saw the kind of reaction people had, and we increased the price. In fact, on the second day by evening, we sold 100% of our goods, $800,000 of goods. And we increased on the third day, we started booking at $170. you know
Wow.
yeah, and we brought back prosperity. But we did even something interesting. What we did, we told the village people, again, these carpets are made in villages in Afghanistan. We told them, see, you used to get $90. I said, we have sold at $160. So now the difference is $70 more. I will pay you
Yeah.
$35 extra straight away. $35 extra straight away. So you are actually making $125. But the balance $35, we made a village committee of the elders, and we said $35 will go to the village committee, and village committee will take care of children education, healthcare, and village cleanliness. So the market will fund your development activity. So all the education in village children will be done by this fund. The healthcare will be taken from this fund, and the village cleanliness. So we use the market mechanism to bring social and change in the villages. So that has become extremely successful, and you will be surprised. Today the world is talking about Amazon and e-commerce, but in 2006, Afghani carpets, Afghani weavers were selling online. And
Wow.
yes, yes, and their computer and internet used to run on a generator because they did not have regular power. So it was very
Wow.
interesting. Same way I worked with 2000 women in a very remote area called Nuristan, and we made them export handicrafts. And first time they also took part in an exhibition in Delhi in Pragati Maidan, India International Trade Fair, and that was also very successful. Then we were working with dry fruit farmers. Same story of dry fruit. The one of the almond quality, the farmers they get $6 a kg in Afghanistan, but I buy in Ahmedabad in the retail market for $24 a kg. No value addition in the product. In between, so many people make money, and we just simply flew from Kabul to Delhi, and we went to Big Bazaar those days. That was the largest retail in India, and we met them and we said, look, you are buying badam at what price, almonds at what price? They said we are buying at $20. We said we will give you at $18. They were very happy. They said, what favor you are asking? You are actually saving me $2. But for us it was $6 to $18 for our
Yeah.
farmers. And
Wow.
again, same thing we did. We created a village fund, and half of the money we gave them straight away, so their income went up. But half of the money went to the village development fund, which was managed by them only.
Right. Now, this is such a unique idea, to me, you look like an ecosystem builder. So it is not about just helping one farmer or a group of farmers, but your vision is to create the infrastructure for the whole village. So there is continuity. What you saw in India, that people from 630,000 villages are moving out of the village and going to bigger towns for employment, for prosperity, for better life. You are here creating the complete ecosystem back in the village itself. What you just did in Afghanistan with the carpet traders, and after that, or the carpet manufacturers, and after that with these dry fruit, folks.
Correct.
Amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Just one word, amazing.
Thank
You
you.
know,
Yeah, in fact, I had a lot of pressure from even family because those days were very challenging as a Afghanistan as a country from security point of view. But I always used to tell my family and everybody that when we do good work by heart, God is always with us. So God is always with us. God is our protector. Otherwise, we had an earthquake in Ahmedabad and so many people died, right? So, I mean, if you have to die, you will die, but not to. So, I was never bothered with any security situation, and actually, I learned Pashto and I mixed up with the society, and I was very welcome today. Also, I don't know. Yeah, you can see one of the hat,
yes,
the Afghani hat given to me by
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
village elders, and yeah.
Very nice, very nice. So now let's talk about your, international expertise and experiences. What are some of the key insight that you have gained working with small business enterprises, startups, and women-owned businesses in particular, all across different countries? And what similarities do you see? What disparities do you see between various countries for the same type of business entity or business unit?
Yeah, that's very interesting question, Anshumanji. Actually, one of the missions of my mentor on road America was to engage with women-owned business in US and try to find out, because I came to know from research that about 35, 40 years back, the participation of women in American economy was 25%. And in 2017, when I did Mentor on Road, it was 66%. So I wanted to know from policy point of view, what were the interventions which led to this increase? Because I still remember when I had accompanied Mr. Modi on one of the foreign tours as a Chief Minister of Gujarat, he made one very interesting comment. He said that, in America, 65, 66% women are in economic workforce, in China, 68%. In India, it is hardly 20%. How can India ever become a prosperous country with almost half of our population not being part of the Indian economy? So it was resonating in my mind, and therefore in US tour I was trying to find out the best practices, and then I realized that actually the challenges which are being faced by women-owned business in America is exactly the same as in India. There is no difference, and of course the education was a big factor, and also I don't know, but I must be honest to you. I must be honest. I actually found that insecurity of women in America is one of the big reason for them to be part of the economic workforce, because the divorce rate in US is so high. They so
Yeah.
uncertainty. They are not sure about what. And in India, it is different. In India, our family system and the way, so it was very surprising to me, this outcome, because it was actually, I was in a like a catch-22 situation. But otherwise, I had a lot of good. I learned a lot of good practices. For example, the women would have, when they have a children, they have a support system in the office where children can be taken care, or in the child care, centers and all, and many other aspects. So that was one. And secondly, the uh, if you see generally a small medium enterprise everywhere in the world, again I found similar challenges. Basically, there are four areas in which a small medium enterprise has work. One is like production, finance, marketing, HR, right? So production related challenges are in relation to technology, because technology is changing very fast, but small medium enterprise do not have the capital to deploy, to adopt new technology, and same challenges are in every country. Even in US I found that. Second is finance is always a challenge to SMEs everywhere. HR also, but surprisingly marketing is something which again I found. I met so many American companies who were small medium companies, particularly small companies, and I asked them, you are in the most developed country of the world, why are you not exporting? And they said, marketing is our challenge. We do not know how to export, we do not know how to explore foreign markets. So same challenges in India also, and same challenges in Indonesia also, right, with small medium enterprise. Then the information and knowledge is something interesting. So I'll give you a very interesting example. See, buys American government as a government, including the defense establishment, buys trillion of dollar of goods and services every year. Okay, American
Yes.
economy is $27 trillion. Indian economy has just touched 4 trillion. Now, American government buys this through a online tender portal, online tendering, and you have to be a registered vendor under that. Vendor registration is free. We have about 1,000 Indian companies who are registered, and we have 14,800 Chinese companies who are registered.
Wow.
The gap is information, that's all. And we took over this challenge, and we went around, with a huge amount of information sharing. So I'm just giving example. Now, like this, information and knowledge is the gap. Otherwise, small medium enterprises actually are the organizations, businesses who can innovate. See, innovation doesn't happen in large companies, because in large companies there is a hierarchy of decision making, and innovation is very spontaneous. Innovation is a creative process, you know with that decision making hierarchy, you cannot innovate. And that is why companies like Microsoft and Boeing, they buy out innovative companies because they know they cannot innovate, right? We get surprised, oh, this company was bought out for $200 million, but such a small company with no sales, right? But it's not the sales which is important to Microsoft. To Microsoft, the innovation is important because they cannot innovate. So small medium enterprise have that skill, but they do not have the market knowledge, right? So that is what we try to fill. And then there is also this if you see same challenge, land labor, I call it like land labor capital enterprise. So any business would need land to set up its manufacturing. Now that is a challenge at many places. In India, sometimes it takes a year to be able to get land approvals. Then labor in India, people say, oh, such a large country, labor is cheap, but we do not have skilled labor. So skilled labor is still a challenge, and that is why Mr. Modi, as a Prime Minister, started National Skill Development Corporation, which has played a big role in many other Skill India program, and so that labor issue is also a challenge to small medium enterprise from two aspects. One is the unskilled labor, but also the skilled labor, because the skilled labor wants to work in large companies, so they are not ready to work in small companies. And then capital is always a challenge, because the bank interest rates in India are high, and even getting bank funding is difficult. And enterprise, so entrepreneurship, and the entrepreneurship is the only differentiator I have seen in India to be having a cutting edge in business. I have seen Chinese businesses, and I will say Indian entrepreneurship is 10 times better than Chinese entrepreneurship. So we have the entrepreneurship skills, and that is why you will see. I always tell people, do you know of any poor non-resident Indian? People will say, no. Then how come I say India is poor? I mean, still large section of India is poor. How it is possible? The environment, the ecosystem is what is different. So it is not that we do not have the brain. Our own brains are running US economy, right? But it is just the ecosystem. And this is what I honestly, I mean, that when Mr. Modi took over as a Prime Minister, this is the big change he has brought in the ecosystem in terms of, regulatory aspects, in terms of showing a direction. First time in my life, I am seeing a leader which is talking of 25-year plan. It's talking of 2047. I don't know what will be his age when he's 2047. Why should he talk about that? What is this political interest to talk about it? 25 years from now? But it is for the country. We used to have 5-year plan, and we used to say it is long-term plan.
Long-term plan,
Right,
yes.
right. So, so
Panchvarshiya Yojana. We
right.
used to study in
Yes,
school,
yes,
civics,
yes.
yeah.
And for since 1981, China has always had a 20-year plan.
Yes, yes,
That is so
yes.
long-term thinking is actually high form of capital. I educate small medium enterprise on a very interesting framework which is called Wolfenson's framework. It is a framework by World Bank. Wolfenson was the president of World Bank for 10 years, and it is his framework, and we implemented this in Afghanistan. And there are 7 forms of capital. Generally, we think money is capital, but actually, even under a banking organization like World Bank, they say money is a lower form of capital. There are 3 lower forms of capital. There are 4 higher forms of capital. 3 lower form is natural resources, man-made infrastructure, and money. And the higher form of capital is institutional capital, human capital, knowledge capital, and cultural capital. And long-term thinking is a cultural capital. Wealth creation attitude is a cultural capital. Trust is a cultural capital. Tourism, architecture, the religious tourism, Ram Mandir, is a cultural capital. The Ram Mandir temple has been built, people are saying it is Hindutva, it is religion. No, it is economy, it is tourism. The largest employment creator in the world is tourism. Biggest in the world, not agriculture, not IT, not manufacturing, tourism. Now, I was reading somewhere that about 20 million people go to Makkah and Medina every year, and 9 million people, sorry, Yeah, 9 million people go to Vatican. Just in the first year, 50 million people are going to go to Ayodhya. 11 five-star hotels are being built there.
Yeah,
It is
yeah,
economy, it is
absolutely.
business.
So, Dr. Shah, we are coming to the 45 minutes mark,
Yeah.
and you are such a knowledgeable person. I would like to do another episode with you with my follow-up question and question related to future. So my team will reach out to you. I would request you to give some time,
Certainly.
maybe in about a month's time, so that
Certainly.
we are fully prepared, and then we will cover you. But before I let you go, you had so many opportunities to meet with the India's dynamic Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi bhai, several times. What is his thought process? What is your takeaway when you have met with him on so many occasions? Real quick, short answer, please.
Yeah, so I will say 7 things. You see, one is he believes that benchmark with the best. So Vibrant Gujarat, if you see, Vibrant Gujarat was a benchmark investment project, and today it is a model in the world. Then he always had a approach of global outreach. So I still remember I was attending a meeting in 2005 when he was talking about yoga, that yoga, how to institutionalize yoga in the world. And in 2014, when he became PM in December, United Nations declared June 21 as the International Yoga Day. In 2005, he was talking about it, right? So that's the global outreach approach. Then Akshardham also, I remember in 2005, he was talking that my dream is that Akshardham temple should be built in Middle East, and we have seen it happen,
And
right?
yeah.
Then again, I was the trade commissioner of Manitoba state of Canada in India for 9 years, and whenever I used to meet him for that, he would tell me, what is the best thing in Manitoba? Whatever is best, I want to bring it to Gujarat. So I said food development center, value addition. He said let's get it. Then when we went to China, I went with him in 2011. I still remember the Chinese government first time ever they broke the protocol where in the Great Hall of Fame, uh, uh, the Great Hall of People, they only received presidents and prime minister. First time they broke the protocol to receive a chief minister of any country. First time they broke the protocol. They gave the kind of escort they gave from airport to the hotel and all the. I mean, I think in 2011, I don't think Mr. Modi was in the race to be the prime minister. But so I learned from him that strength begets respect, because they knew that Gujarat is an economic power, and for China to do business in India, they will have to, be in Gujarat. So strength begets respect. And then I still again remember, young people, young Indians who are studying in China, doing medicine and so many other courses. They came from 1500 kilometers away in train to meet him. And when he was talking to them, he was talking in the language of the youth. Uh, WhatsApp is not allowed in China,
China,
but he
yeah.
was talking about how are you bypassing it through VPN and so many things. He was talking their language. He was talking their language, and they were so what I learned is that you are as young as you think. So his connect with the youth has always been there. And one most interesting experience I had was when we went to Chengdu, and there was an earthquake there. So they had built a affordable housing scheme, and when the Chinese engineer was explaining, he took a paper and pen himself, and he started writing. He started asking, tell me what is the cost of bricks, what is the cost of cement, what is the cost of steel, what are your labor cost, in how much time you did it. And he did all the calculations, and he said in the end he made a total himself, and then he was talking to us, this is what we should be doing.
Wow.
So lifetime student, I learned from him. He's a lifetime student. There is no, even as a chief minister, such a dynamic chief minister, he was ready to learn, right? And also about women, I told you earlier that he was talking that how women can be higher part. So he's talking of inclusive society. So this is, in fact, on his 70th birthday, I actually made an audio which is called Yug Purush. A Yug Purush is someone who comes in 1,000 years, and
Yes.
I am an educated person. I'm not like like people talk about Bhakt, right? I am educated person. When I say, then I am relating it to some of the vision which he has spoken to us, and I have seen it happening 10 years from then. We have been witness to it. So Yug Purush is what I call him, and we are very lucky to have someone like this. And
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
next when we will get someone like him.
Yeah, but I'm very hopeful that that he will continue as prime minister. We are in the election year, so everything will be good, and we'll have a dynamic prime minister like him, uh, with the continuity going on. So with that, I come to a close of this podcast. Thank you so much, Dr. Jagat Shah. It has been
Pleasure.
a pleasure to have you on my show, and for my viewers, so much wealth of information and knowledge. So, I request you to give us some time for a second episode of this show. So, my office will reach out to you, and then we will plan a recording like this.
My
Okay?
pleasure. I enjoyed the questions. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.